What's up, you guys? It's your girl Tatiana, aka Tat, and welcome to my channel. This video has been long overdue. I didn't even really plan for it how I wanted to because I really just wanted to get the content out there and get it started. I've been procrastinating these videos and this channel for so long. I had this idea in my head and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I talk about the equipment that I have or show you guys what I have and what I use? As you can see by the title, this video is going to be a beginner's guide to using the Canon EOS T8I, also known as the 850D. This camera was a camera that I actually upgraded to. It was a Christmas gift, and I never did a review on it. I literally love this camera with all my heart. It's a great beginner's camera, especially when you're just like going from like beginner to like advanced beginner kind of thing, you know what I mean? So I really truly love it, and I wanted to share with you guys in case there's anybody out there that is on a budget and they're trying to ball on a budget. I'm your girl and this is your camera. I'm telling you right now, it's a really good camera to use. This camera contains immaculate quality for both photos and video. I really love it because I'm able to use the most of my creativity with this camera. The older EOS Rebel cameras, they were very limited in their settings. So I really love with this one, I feel more comfortable with using manual mode and all the different types of modes that they have on the camera. Before we get into this video, I would like you guys to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna be dropping a lot of different videos on cameras, photography, modeling, the whole nine, so I don't want you guys to miss it. Stay tuned and keep watching. All right, you guys, don't mind my nails, they look crazy, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to review this camera, so let's get into it. We have this T8I from EOS, well, EOS Rebel T8I. Very nice. Very nice thick body. It feels pretty light. I don't think compared to my other EOS Rebel cameras that it's very heavy. It is pretty light, and I love that about this camera. We have the viewfinder, and then we have the different controls. Again, don't mind my camera being a little bit used because I did get it in December of last year, so I'm a little late on the review. So yeah, there's all these different functions at the top. We have the ISO function, the display, the on and off, and then this is like the section where you put your flash up there, your external flash. And yeah, it's a pretty good ceramic, I'm pretty sure it's ceramic body, and I love it. Some people don't prefer to have an external flash, and that's completely fine because this camera does come with a built-in flash. It's pretty cool. I've used it a few times, especially when I don't want my light to be super harsh. I'll use the built-in flash that it was given. So it's pretty cool. I would rate it a 7 out of 10 for the built-in flash. Nothing too crazy, but it does get the job done. First, when you get the camera, it's going to be like this. They give you this like cover for your lens to, you know, cover the lens pocket so it doesn't get any dust or dirt or debris in it. And then it comes with a kit lens. This is one of my favorite kit lenses because they're super easy to use. The kit comes with this 18 to 55 millimeter lens. It's a zoom lens, and it's a pretty easy, good lens to use, especially for beginners. It does, like I said, come with the camera. So we're gonna go ahead and put the zoom lens onto the camera. There's like these little red and white indicators on the camera. I don't know if you guys can see it, but on the lens, there's a white indicator. So basically what you're gonna do is you're just gonna match them up to each other. You're just gonna wanna go up to the white, and then you're gonna just snap it on until you hear it click. And then that is your camera with the zoom lens that it came with on it. It looks really nice. I love it. So yeah, let's get into the camera. So when you click the on button, it's gonna automatically bring the camera setting up. I'm going to brighten this a little bit Alright, so we first have our automatic mode. This mode is pretty cool and good for beginners to use because you don't really know how to use the camera. It keeps going off, I don't know why, but yeah, you don't really know how to use the camera that well, so it's a really good mode to use. The next one, which is a special scene mode. Special scene mode, you can choose a different type of scene. They're good for portraits. You can do one that smoothens the skin a little bit. Good for group shots, landscape shots, close-ups, sports shots, kids, and food. The list goes on because there's more. Candlelight, I've never even used any of these. So that right there just shows you the amount of different features that this camera has. It's pretty cool. And also it's in a mode that explains to you the different features. And I have to remember the type of mode that this is in. I can probably put it in the description if I don't get to it in the video. But I feel like it's very beneficial and helpful, especially for those who are just starting out. So then we have the next one, which is the creative filters. These I actually have used before, just to play around with them. I think they're pretty cool. We have a toy camera effect, the miniature effect, HDR, art vivid, and bold, and art embossed. So there's a couple different ones. And like I said, you can play around with the different ones. Fisheye effect I've definitely used in the past. Soft focus, grainy, B&W, black and white. So yeah, it's really up to what you want to do and the type of pictures you want to take. So here in manual mode, they're basically just explaining to you the different settings and their purpose. So here we have shutter speed, we have the aperture level, and we have ISO. And like I said, it gives you a detailed explanation of what it does and what it is. And we also down here have the exposure composition, high speed continuous, depending on if you want to do like a single shot, or if you want to do multiple different shots. And then we have the focus level, and it's all depending on if you're doing like, you know, just a portrait, or if you're doing a group shot, you could adjust that. And then we have also the change of focus and different methods of focus. And it also gives you like a picture description if you're interested in switching that up, which is pretty cool. I love manual mode. I used to actually not shoot in manual mode because I was just so confused with the settings, and I also wasn't confident in the settings. So now that I know, I'm a little bit happier I should say, that I'm able to play around more with the camera settings. Next, moving from manual mode, we have the aperture priority mode. This mode is very cool because you can change the blurriness of the background that you're shooting. It can be, you know, super blurry, or it can go super sharp. It's all depending on your preference. And then you also have the ability to adjust the brightness mode, the speed of how you want your shots to go. Like I said, if you wanted to do single shot, or if you wanted to do a high speed continuous shot. And then also the focus, same thing as before in the manual mode. The main thing with this one is just the level of background blur that you're able to adjust, because it's pretty tricky to do it otherwise. In manual, it's kind of like, you know, tedious, but this one, it just gives it a very easier option for you to do. Moving on from our AV mode, we have our TV mode. Basically, like it says, it adjusts the shutter speed to make moving subjects look still or capture motion blurring. So this is good to use like if you're shooting a waterfall, if you're shooting someone moving and, you know, want to get a kind of nice shot of them moving in the midst of them moving. Just really a good setting to use if you're shooting things that may be moving. You could adjust the brightness, you could change the speed of your shot, like I said before, the focus, and all the same things as before. This one is just really focusing on how the subject looks and if they're going to be moving or if they're not. Alright, moving on, we have our program mode. This mode is very good to adjust the photo brightness settings. It's all depending if you want your photo to be super bright or if you want it to be super dark. You can adjust that easily with the dial that's on the right. And yeah, that's really it with this one. They're all basically kind of similar, except each of them have a, you know, specific thing that they do best. And yeah, I've never actually used this one, but it looks pretty cool. I might use it in the future. Moving on, we have automatic mode. I think I already talked about automatic mode, but yeah, like I said, it's one of the easier modes to use, very beginner friendly, and you can change, like they have this thing called Creative Assist, and you can literally change if you want your photo to be super vivid, you want it to be soft, If you want it to be warm, cool, if you want the color, like certain colors to pop out, it's pretty cool. I've never used this, but I think it's cool to do like fast editing with if you're ever in a rush and need to, like, you know, do a few little tweaks on the picture. And then we have, again, the background blur, brightness, contrast, saturation, color tones, and the monochrome. So it's all really depending on the type of shot you're looking for and going for and what you're trying to do. Now we're going to move on to the menu for the camera. There's many different types of menu settings. They have shooting settings, playback, wireless, function, and display level. So I always go into the settings when I first get the camera because I like to play around with them, and most settings are already set, so I like to just adjust it according to what I like. So for shooting settings, we have image quality, which is on RAW. I always shoot RAW now. I used to shoot with JPEG, but RAW is just so much easier to edit with. And then we have review duration. So like it says, choose how long images are displayed on the screen. We have the release shutter and the flash control. The flash control is basically if you're going to put a external flash trigger at the top, or if you're just going to use the internal one. It's all really depending whatever you do, but you can adjust those settings. And then we also, if you see this little 2 up here, because we're in like the first folder, so if you go to the 2, they also have additional settings as well. So you can play around with that. And then next we have the playback settings. So playback settings are just like about the different, the images that you have. You can erase images, you can print them. I've never even really looked through these. These are basically the same as before. So creative filters, red eye correlation. I've never really looked at the photo book setup. That's pretty cool. You have cropping. You can choose how you want your photos to be cropped. You can resize certain things, histogram display, just a whole bunch of different things that they have here. The thing that I love about this camera the most is that it is wireless, and it also contains Bluetooth and GPS communication. I think it's very beneficial because I've had a camera before that did not have these options, and it was trickier to transfer the photos from my camera to my computer. I really, really love that they have this option for the T8I. So you can connect it to your Bluetooth. I have it connected to my iPad. Airplane mode, Wi-Fi settings, the whole 9. Then we have the function settings. So this is just basically the function of the camera itself, nothing to do with the photos that it takes or anything like that. This is really just, you know, the folders within the camera, the brightness, if you want your, you know, camera to be brighter than others, like if you want your display to be brighter, we have that. They have the date and time, language. You can also disable, I disabled it because it's really, really annoying, but they have this like beep. And basically whenever you do something, it beeps. So I don't like that. It kind of is annoying. I took it off, especially like when I'm in a newborn session or like a session where I want to be particularly quiet. I don't like that beeping sound. And then it has like the battery info. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different things. You can clean your sensor. There's a whole bunch of different things that they have in here. You just gotta go in and play around with it. And the last setting in the menu bar, we have the display level settings. So this is just really for fun, like however you want. Oh, so this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the menu display. So they have a guided display and they have a standard display. A guided display specifically tells you the settings of the camera and the functions and how it's used. And I like it because sometimes there are settings that I come across where I don't really know how to use them. So I think it's pretty cool. And then the standard mode is where they don't really show you or tell you about anything. It's kind of just like they just let you figure it out for your own. So I think that's pretty cool that they allow you to switch that up. For most people, they don't know this, but this is where you actually put in your SD card. It actually says card open, so it's not rocket science, but some people really don't know. And this one, yep, I have my SD card in here. And this isn't one where you like press down and it pops up. You kind of have to like pull it out, which is kind of annoying, but still, this is where you put your SD card. And then as for the battery port, it's down on the bottom. This is also a tripod port too, so if you want to put your camera on a tripod, you have the ability to do that. And this battery port, it's pretty easy to use, self-explanatory. You kind kind of pop the battery in and out. It came with the battery when I bought the camera, so, and you just pop it back in and wait for it to click. So once that's all set, you're good to go with using your camera. This camera also has really good video. I've used video a few times on this camera just because I love the different functionalities that it has. I've never actually had a camera that shot in 4K, and this camera does shoot in 4K, which is also pretty cool because, and I don't know why it's not working, but as you can see, I think it's because I have a different setting on. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, it does shoot in 4K, and I always thought that was awesome because it gives a different, you know, quality to your video. And the only thing about shooting in 4K, it does take up more space, and the camera does a good job with telling you about that. It's pretty cool. Once you start using the camera, you know, a few times, you kind of get the gist of the settings because they're fairly all the same. Even the video settings, they're like the same as the photo settings. So as long as you understand the basics like the ISO, the shutter speed, you know, that kind of thing, the video quality that you're using, it should be smooth sailing from there. One function this camera also has that I'd like to share with you guys that I love is the pinch to zoom. I think pinch to zoom was really, really good and beneficial because sometimes when you take a picture, especially as a beginner, you aren't really sure how clear the picture is. It may seem clear like on the camera, but then when you actually take the shot or export the photo, it's a little blurry and you can't really see it that well because you're really not zooming in. So with pinch to zoom, I think it's pretty cool because once you, I'm gonna just, you know, take a picture of something. So once you take a picture of something, I just took a picture of my iPad Airbox, you can easily use your finger and zoom in to see the quality of it, and it looks like it's pretty clear, so you can move on. But I think pinch to zoom is very beneficial, especially when you're just starting out. Alright you guys, so it looks like this is the end of the video. I really hope that you guys love the review for the Canon T8I. Like I said in the beginning, this is like one of my favorite EOS Rebel cameras. But for right now, I'm gonna like master these settings and the functions on this camera because there's a lot, as y'all can see. There's some that I've never even used before that might be beneficial for me, but I won't know until I get in a situation where I have to use it. So I hope you guys love this camera. Canon, if you're watching, sponsor me because I love your products. Canon EOS T8I is the way to go if you're a beginner. This is definitely worth it. It's definitely worth the money. But for now, it's your girl Tot signing off. Until next time, bye.